Great and beautiful morning and evening to you all, wherever you are joining me at this hour. Welcome to 557 edition of Invest Data Training Academy Live with Ambrose. Yes, I'll tell you that the global scene as we speak is looking a bit mixed, but good that the market is still strong in this matured market. And also, we're coming back home now to look at what is happening on NGX and other African countries. We're seeing also a mixed market in this African continent. For NGX trying to also to look up, but still a bit flat, going up and down at this hour. Don't forget that this is just a midday. We're going to see what will happen at the end of today's trading. The next 2 to 3 hours before the days trading for today will come to an end for Nigeria market. But let's start from what is happening in the matured market. We are seeing the recent move between US and the China on regard the trade dispute and also tariff coming to an end. That have given a lot of signal and we are seeing the global market breaching out recently. Now let's see what's happening in Asia as at this mid week trading as the month of October is gradually winding down. I'll tell you that the Asia market as we speak also like I mentioned it's mixed. We're seeing a mixed market also with also stocks in that region also looking at mixed at this mid week. Don't forget that the major market looking up in this environment or this domain. Talking about the life of Japan and South Korea was seeing the market they're looking up, and that of China also seeing a mixed market. But let's see what is happening at the end of the day. As to tell you that yes, the positive market that we saw in Wall Street also been extended, to Asia market. Even though the market here are mixed, we are seeing that yes, the shares or the market in Australia is also looking a bit the south sharply because of what? Because of hot inflation figure that were released, and that also triggered the possibility of if the rate cut chance is very low due to the high inflation figure that came. That means the Reserve Bank of Australia will be considering it either rate change or going to hike rate. These are the things we are seeing that in Australia market as we speak now are looking southward in that regard. All focus are still also on the Fed decision today being the last day of the meeting to see how many percentage of or how many percentage of the rate are going to also be kind of cut or kind of reduced from what it is. Don't forget that their last policy meeting they cut rate, especially that today later today we also know what they're going to also do as but I believe that all eyes are also that have priced in that market that rate cut is also underway in US. All these are what also playing in the international market. But what is that as major indices in Wall Street as before now have almost closed at all-time high. But let's see that this morning with that trend continue, but we're also trying to see. But if you look at what is happening in Japan, I'm saying Japan looking at Nikkei 225 jumping up by 2%, more than 2%. I will tell you, this also making it a fresh all-time high of what or high of 51,311.4 7 point. While that of like I said, South Korea was seen also that market also jumping up also with a 1.7 almost 2%. Also, this is an all-time high for South Korea market. And don't forget that we are seeing the visit of Trump to Japan and now also heading to also to South Korea. You can see that this movement of the number one this president of the one of the largest economy in the world moving. We also seen that yes, it's also playing out. But I believe that this is going to play out. And don't forget that in this market we're mentioning, the chip makers and other artificial intelligence stocks or tech stocks, let's put it generally, are the one leading the gain. For me, it's a good one. For me, these are the things that the investors should pay attention in that region, looking at what tech companies and how they are jumping up. And this have kept the sentiment in this market up, despite that it's a mixed one. So that in Japan yesterday, still the business contract, deals have been signed by the Prime Minister of Japan and that of and the President of US. For me, it's a good one for even for the manufacturing sector and other. These are good things. But if you look at China, I'll tell you that the China blue chips companies also are looking up. Look at the index for China blue chips companies are still up. Can say that China Shanghai CSI 300 is also up by 0.5, and while that of the Shanghai component also gained 0.4 as to speak. The Hong Kong market, as we say, is also down or close for what? Or let's say the close not down, sorry, closed for public holiday today, and that of Singapore is also on the other side was on the southward movement 0.3% in the red, and why India market, that's a Nifty 50, tick up by what by 0.2%. But I tell you that all eyes are still on the outcome of Fed meeting that is underway now. We believe that at the end of the day will also. But Australia, Q3 GDP, as I've said earlier, jump above forecast, and that have sent a signal that we're seeing in that market as mentioned. But more companies are releasing their numbers, both in Asia, both in the US, and most of these companies are international companies. But seeing the result also playing out, we saw that the major US tech company, including Microsoft and also the Alphabet, and all of them are also Google, all of them are released their results, and these results are we're going to expect to come today. Probably that's also another push for the market, as we speak. There's no cause for alarm. Like I just said, Australia market is down by 0.9. That is due to underperforming Q3 inflation data that also dampened the expectation, and that have changed. That's why I said you must pay attention to economic data. It has the way of driving market up and down, and you don't joke with it. You have to factor it in, even when you're expecting it, or also after that hit the market. It has the way of tumbling or kind of affecting investors' sentiment. Yes, move to Europe. Europe market, I'll tell you that the market in Europe has extended, kind of having a steady ride. What we saw the previous day ahead of what Fed rate decision today, and also we saw that the USB and UBS report reported a profit surge, and that also impact that stock is also going up this morning. Yes, I'll tell you that European stocks or market are largely stable this morning, and also traders digesting more corporate earnings ahead of what the key policy decision by Fed any moment from now toward the end. These are the things shaking the bank. I tell you all this, and also expect that Fed will continue to ease rates, and that easing also in a way of impacting more. And I believe that not only in that US, other countries have also gone ahead so that they can boost their economy. If Fed go ahead to increase rate by to cut rate by 25 basis points, expect to see the rate line in the US to be between 3.75 toward 4%. For me, it's also one. This easing is also right to also, despite the ongoing shutdown in government, we are seeing that some events that are unfolding in the US have supported the market, and that has sentiment has also remained in that. With the latest the discussion with China in terms of tariff, that has also kind of put a lot of reduced a lot of tension. Trade tension for me is also a plus for US, and that's why in Europe, so I've seen that also playing out. That's why trade tension between us has gone down. These two largest economy has also put a lot of relief or breathe out forward for other. I always say that in the war when US sneeze, other nation also catch cold. Is that but this movement from Trump from one Asia country to the other is also a plus. And also don't forget that with China trying to put that in, that's also going to a boost for the global economy going to the future, especially as we are preparing to enter 2026. These are the things investors should also look at. I believe that as more earnings are expected to hit the Asia market today, or like I said, they will both Meta platform, also all of them are expected to release the result today, later today on Wall Street, and that as it was also triggering further. But I believe that also as a European market expecting more numbers today. I told you about the S&P, the UBS also third quarter surging by almost 74%. That are also beating the expectation of the market in revenue and also financial stability. These are cost global, even in the face of global the turbulent as a result of tariff and all those stuff. It's a good thing also wealth also renewed for merger activities. We believe that this is also going to further boost confidence in that domain and also in the company. Especially also Deutsche Bank also to release their numbers, also their Q3 number, even Spanish bank also to release their number. These are the things also going to change the market. For especially messages, all them to release their third quarter, also other dies, and also more companies also in UK or like GSK, all of them are expected to read their number. But as to speak, I'll tell you that crude oil price right now is also a bit stabilizing. and reducing kind of losses after before now. Expected that yes, U.S. inventory and others with the target of Fred what's called Trump, trying to put the oil price remain below 70, around 65. That would be good for the global economy. And also, OPEC has recently kind of improved hacked rate what's it called output production. These are the further things that also stabilize and that also boost the economy. If energy costs remain relatively low, at global scene, that will be good. But those that are producing also have to double their production. If and also with the OPEC regulation, let's see how it's going to. For me, it's for those that are producing also to that kind of find a way of how what they can do to support their revenue in terms of production. But I believe that OPEC group also will align in considering this increase of production in December. These are the things I know that yes, how the war also impacting positively on manufacturing sector of the globe. Every growth of the economy will also benefit from it. Let's quickly go to the last one focus. Africa is US. US market as we speak also is also equally mixed. As investors are also reacting to the outcome of the outcome of the visit of Trump to Japan, now South Korea, and also expected the outcome of expecting the last communication to come from the policy meeting, the rate decision. These are the things where you can see that the some of the indices were up, but I'll tell you that the uptick was just small, and while that of that Joe was that I say it's a mixed market right now in US, but I'll tell you potentially all eyes are what on the market event that will shape like I tell you results have been expected in the market. Those results also will boost the market, especially if this number beat expectation as some of them have done before now. But the mixed market can see that, like I said earlier, that S&P and Nasdaq are up, while that Dangote is down right away at this hour. But a crucial day for US market to as far as what are the outcome of their policy meeting there. You can also expect to see the mega cap tech company earnings. All these are going to also and to see what impact you have in the market today. But the main, like I said, the main market averages have been up for almost 3 consecutive days. I believe that is a good one. But this now has seen a mixed one, but the market is still very positive. Phone is still entering US market, as far as what on more earnings in the market and outcome of what policy meeting today. This will further shape the sentiment and that also guide investors on where they should put their tents as well. The year is winding down and also 2026 is around the corner. But I believe that if US with their president can sort out all this tariff and stability come, that will not only good for US, it will good for the global economy. I mean, trade will continue, but I believe that this is another lesson that most the nations are looking inward to make sure that yes, their economy is doing well. That is what also I believe will be the good news from this tariff. The problem we had now to look inward and see your new partner, new markets for you. This is government are good, and that's why I tell you that at times when problem comes, all this government is for you to look inward and become better, economic managers, better, government, or better investors and others as we speak. But back to Africa, I will tell you that if you look at Africa market, the African market is also mixed, but most of the major markets in Africa are in green. I'll tell you that Nigeria market is gradually coming back to green as we speak now. It's already back to around the quite flat. Okay, let me use that word flat now. But good news that we expect to see that the companies in this our market also reduce release a better numbers we have seen so far. That of what I believe that the state of the market in Nigeria is still very, very positive. That's why as we're going to look at the major numbers today, we're looking at the GTCO number and that of Dangote cement and BUA cement. In the same industry, we want to see what had happened in that industry. We have earlier seen the result that came from WACO. We have seen very outstanding number from this industrial goods or building material reported that way, and also the result that came from the financial sector, especially the banks we have seen so far. We have seen a mixed bank result, but that of result that come from we'll come to BTB and also that, but we have seen the result that came from ETI and the result that came from Stanbic. These numbers are standing even when we are seeing some of these bank reporting a slowdown in FS gain, even negative in FS gain because of what we have seen. I posted a huge gain the previous year and huge I believe that every serious investor in Nigeria should know that it's an one-off thing, in their book, because that exchange there, what we call it, the bringing of together, unification of exchange rate that kind of from that. I just expected that will continue. Now that we're seeing FX gone as high as almost 1,800, coming back rather as we speak now, we're seeing coming down, which is good that Nigeria is unstable. That is why we are removed from the grave list and all that. It says that this stability is what we want, and if the banks are is reversible, we try to normalize, and we don't know that the core banking activities will perform. I believe that the bank sitting on which fund about 500 billion and above, most of them, is enough for them to do business. And now, with the help of the having a good cost structure, this, but it's also another opportunity for me. There is no cost for that. It might be for this year, we might see kind of a little shake, but I believe that if stability continue, the banks will also factor in. That also help the economic expansion. So that stability is what every real economic oriented people want, especially if you want growth in an economy. But exchange rate should come down so that you are not importing inflation to your economy. Also, people can plan with a stable economy. Now that all of investors can come to your economy because of what they are seeing stability. Not that when they are coming, when they are going, their money will be eroded. But if they are coming, when they are going, they see value for their money. For me, these are the things that will attract foreign investors. That's why I say we'll come to look at the state of the market. But I'm just telling you about the bank results was that are missed. But I believe that there are some banks that are standing, and that's why you, as a trader or investor, you don't stay in one position, you represent your portfolio, and also there are companies that has positive sentiment already. Market perception for those companies or those banks are different. You must pay attention to all this. These are the things that will help you as a trader or investor to make informed investment decision in any market. That's why you must pay attention to this. It's very, very important as we speak. Yes, looking at the general market, the state of Nigeria market as we speak now, I say that our market has no fear at this point. Let investors not panic. Yes, there are some bull cases, also there are some bearish cases for the market, but I'll tell you, when the bull cases are more than the bearish cases, you don't need to panic. Yes, we are seeing impressive earnings. I told you anytime, any day that it's a price feed on earnings, and these earnings are coming out powerfully, even when price has gone ahead of this earning. Yes, you might see a little slowdown. What the chart is also showing here. Don't forget that most of these earnings we are seeing also have also been priced in. Now, it's another economic event, and also at end of the year season, which I know that's going to also happen because liquidity is still in the market, and also as far rate cut continue in Nigeria market or Nigeria economy, I see that the equity space is look more attractive compared to what the fixed income instrument, even when the bond market is going to be like 70% or that or 21%, even though the fixed income market is crazy and all. But I see opportunity within what we're seeing here and price going on. We are not playing the market for dividend, capital appreciation. I see that opportunity. And also with our stable FS, we are still to see more income flowing or more foreign participation by now, but only that our regulators also to sit up. Don't be loose for the foreign investor come and take over your market. We know that foreign investor coming to any economy, especially the hot money, the portfolio investors, they are not doing good. But those that are coming as direct investors are coming to establish fashion Nigeria, seeing here 25 years, 30 years, and employ Nigeria, creating wealth for Nigeria that are also working there, and also investors invest in this company if they are listed on it. It's also for me, I believe that is what pay attention now. And also if you look at what Dangote have done in Nigeria, and also in the market, that shows that Nigeria should pay attention to Dangote any day, even the government and the investors in Nigeria. Why? They have seen how Dangote have created wealth for Nigerians before now. I know when Dangote sugar came on board, the price of interim dividend. We know when Dangote flour came on board. We also know when Dangote Cement today came on board, and also NASCOM. Also, you can see these companies have been almost 4 companies listed. Now it's trying to bring more to be that yes, it deepen this market. Our market will expand where investors can play, and the business they are bringing in are business that are also creative, that are making money, creating employment. For me, it's a welcome development. With the move of selling 10% of Dangote Cement, refinery, to Nigeria, it's a welcome development. Not only that, expanding to Africa. It tells you that it's trying to make sure that Africa become a hub for oil and for fuel. So that we can also supply that to the world. For me, it's a good one, and that also here, if we are manufacturing here, and we see fuel price coming down, that also help the economy to manage to manage inflation, and also importation will drop. That will help us to manage what our reserve, our external reserve. For me, I believe that it's expanding its business. Also, already by now we have said we expect to see between now end of the year or early 2026 to see fertilizer being listed. We are seeing also the major move between trying to make sure that the food companies become bigger. Also with the with the coming together of NASCOM, Dangote rice and sugar. Yes, it might be delayed now, but I'll tell you that that move is still on. That means this man is also creating wealth for Nigeria, even when also he's making money. You know that it's carrying people along because you investing in that 10%. It's also going to be huge for me. I believe that this is one player which also and others were seeing. We are seeing BUA food also in that industry. We are seeing the Melu Group and see also they are seeing a lot of the $10 and all those stuff. For me, if you encourage this more Nigerians to do it more in Nigeria here than also looking at our politicians today. Where do they what are they doing just to carry about? If we are simple that are creating wealth for Nigeria, for me, to become a development and also give him thumb up and also be ready to buy into what to Dangote because we are seeing their consistent corporate governance in Dangote. Go and check all these companies, their corporate governance are top notch. For me, it's a good one that will pay attention to what to this move. We expect to see when it will happen. I know that many people are already saving, selling down some stock to make sure that they have money, to buy into the Dangote. And also not only that, doubling their capacity, from what it is today to almost 1,400. For me, it's a good one, and that will make us to become the biggest refinery in the world. And that is a welcome development. We should pay attention to that as traders and investors. But that's a way of also putting the table food on your table. Yes, because of our time, even they always give me a sign. Let's start with what with our numbers. Let's go to let's start from let's start from GTCO. So we're looking at numbers today. Let's pay attention to these numbers. They are very, very important. Let's start from GTCO today. Yeah, this GTCO figure as we speak now. If you look at this figure, yes, you say that there's a missed performance. I agree with you. And it's also a reflection of what is happening in the industry. And I believe that because we are not expecting much clearly to be a slowdown, and this is one thing that we should pay attention to because investors should have in mind that yes, every sector comes with a little challenge or not. Yes, you might say that the industry is overregulated. It's for the good of the economy and good for investors. But I believe that this financial sector has potential. It might not be immediately, for those of these banks that are coming, who are seeing their strength, where they are going, market perception for this company, these banks, it's a good one. But let's look at the bank, the number. Look at the number. I'll tell you that the number is made. I've said earlier. If you look at the top line, which is the gross earnings for the new format, look at the 980.52 billion to 1.2 1 trillion. For me, it's a growth of about 26% for the company. And we are seeing, if you look at this number, you can see that the FS loss, also expenses and all those stuff, these are the things, or the provision, when I put it there, impairment, charges and all that are also part of it. But at the end of the day, I tell you that this number is not really not too attractive, but I'll tell you this will not affect this company because you know where they are coming from. Also, I see that the potential to bounce back are there. This is a company that posted almost 1 trillion by this time the previous year, but now down to around almost 700 million, 699.6 for me, against the 1.9 trillion posted in previous year. That's about 32, 36, 5.52 to almost 36 down. But also, we are seeing that the increase in share, the share in issue has further dilute the earnings. You say the earnings per share have dropped from 38.4 to almost 20. It's a lot of increase in share. If you look at that figure, we are seeing it's about what they have. It's about 36.55 kobo. Now that this increase in the share in issue has also further diluted. But I believe that yes, on this, it would know at the end of the day if they also pay a good dividend compared to what they paid last year. Last year they paid about a total of almost 8 naira 33 kobo. Now we have seen the first quarter of what of just dividend of 4 naira what they did the previous year. Let's see if there will the dividends of 5 naira or 6 naira will come up from. But I believe that the way the bank is going, there's no cost for alarm. The bank is still early. They've concluded their recapitalization. They're still postpaid, and this is a bank that the focus is also very, very strong. If you look at the balance sheet of this company, their balance sheet is also strong. But good thing that if you look at the 10 months ago, that means from July to September, you can see that the performance is not attractive, bad one. You can see the figure here on the screen. These numbers are speaking that yes, their third quarter performance was not as bad as that of the 9 months. I'll tell you that at the end of the day, we saw that the gross earning was up, and also the bottom line also for that third quarter was also up. You can see from 179.44 billion to 250.63 billion for the period. For me, it's also a good one. That's why I said there's no cause. That means from 6 naira 41 kobo to 7 naira 54 kobo. That is that yeah, there's still hope for me. There's no cause for alarm. Yes, we know that every investment again in the future, we are seeing where they are going. I feel that yes, a lot of activities this end of the year, and also have a war so in play now. Even when rate cut is on, also try to reflect on the banking sector because of deep major in the physical market, and when we are seeing drop in rate, they are also reduced in their return. But at the end of the day, if you look at the cash flow for the period, the cash flow is very, very strong, and see that even though it's still a drop, but still positive one. And I tell you that knowing that also knowing that they're also a financial institution, having this robust cash flow for me is also a good one for GTP. Quick one, let's move to the ones that I said yes, the industry have shown tremendous move. I've seen all the number that came from that. From this, also all eyes are still on the Julius Berger, that also similar in that industry too. But I can tell you the one that came from WAPCO was standing, the one that came from Dangote Sugar. Let's start from what we are seeing now at display, the one that came from what from BUA. I tell you, this number is really fantastic by all standards, and that tells you that investors are really taking advantage of what they are seeing in the market to the position their portfolio. I see these high cap stocks rebounding and also going up because we are seeing that the profit margin is expanding, the production. That tells you that the FS gain are part of it, and they can plan, and that's a good one. And also the price of cement, higher than the previous year. It's also have reflected on that top line. For me, it's a good news for the for the industry, and also an environment where you have infrastructural gap. We are still to make sure that we cover up our housing, and also this road here and there. I see there's demand for it, for that for their product. For me, it's a good one that we're seeing this number. This one also encouragement to investors that would like to see improved payout from Bosman. Their payout, compared to their price, have been kind of not really impressive. If with this improve stellar performance we are seeing, fantastic performance, we expect to see that shareholders will also be done. Not only that, the price difference and the dividend also to say that when you are paying low percentage of your price as of your earnings as dividend, and also related to your price is not making money, it also has a way. But for those that are playing defensive and those international investors, can tell that funds in the market because we are seeing it on this price of this company changing because of what their earnings. If you look at the top line of Boasman, you can see the movement here. Looking at the comparable year period of 9 months, 583.41 billion to 858.73. It's about 47%. And I said, in the off standard, this admit our standard investor that it must be two times what two times. What to say these companies are standing because of the inflation environment we are. For me, it's a good one. The top line, and also if you look at also the bottom line of this company, that was also speaking volume for you to have a net income. If you come back here, yes, you can see that even the cost of a financial income has also. You can see the financial. Look at the finance income for the period. This is a 900 or something period. Again, they can see it's even dropped. But the good news is that you can see that the cost of finance also increased. But you can see that the FX gain here, is what I've supported it. You can see this about 21 point something 6 billion against 57. This also impacted the number to see what we are saying today. And not only that, this revenue start from one is also a boost for them that we are seeing a huge, almost a profit after tax of 289.86 billion against 48.97 billion. You can see this about 100 and 491%, or let's say 492%. This is huge, and that you can see that the earning per share has also moved from about 1 naira 45 kobo to 8 naira 856 kobo. For me, it's a good one at the end of the day. And if you further look at the balance sheet, the balance sheet is still very, very healthy and strong. Look at the total assets move from 1.7 trillion to about 1. Also no 6.3 trillion. Good one. I look at what we call the the equity position. You can see that the retained earnings of this company has moved from 100 and 175.66 billion to 390. That means we expect to see a good dividend at the end of the day from this company, because we have seen that the retained earnings is on increase, and that will also support a higher payout at the end of the day, to also give their investors encouragement and thumb up for having faith in the company. Also, if you look at the cash flow from operation, look at cash flow from operation. Pay attention to this at the end of the day. What are you seeing the cash flow from operation? Net cash flow from operational activities. You can see even when we are seeing some changes in their working capital and all that, we are seeing, yes, it's still positive but a decline. But for me, this is not just you have to monitor this to see, and also let's see if what is compared for the full year. Yeah, it's also up, but this one we are seeing here is for the full year 2020, 2024. But I believe that yes, this company is also in the right direction. I invest all there, you can hold a position. I see this price still going further up for those that stay in the store. We quickly look at what is happening also in Dangote Cement. And Dangote Cement has been a leader in that industry, and you can see leader in order ramification, in dividend reward, in price, and also in capacity. Here you can see that this company has also become stronger in Nigeria, and I tell you that have offset a lot of weakness in other African countries. But I'll tell you that the Dangote Group and Dangote company has already put Africa on the map of the world because of what? Because of the essential commodities they are in, and that was not that to me that Africa identify with the global economy by having what you can identify that is what Africa is into. For me, the Dangotes are really doing well in terms of position Africa, not Africa, Nigeria. That's why you investors and I know all of us that are investing, trading, and also the government should always give support to make that these things comes to full to fruition. And at the end of the day, we also going to benefit from it, as coming to list in that finance I've said earlier is a plus. But if you look at this sugar number, Popeyes are still on sugar. We have seen if other numbers are coming from that food and beverages, we have seen them positive. The one that came from Nestle, the one that came from Carb, the one that came from others, we are seeing good one. Even the FS game we are seeing in the industrial goods or building material, it's also likely to repeat itself or reflect those numbers as we have seen so far. But if you look at for that this Dangote Cement, I'll tell you that this number is for me is a good number. Yes, you might see that the top line growth was not much, but I tell you it's a positive one. By our standard in invest data, is below our standard for the top line. But good one, the top line moved from 2.56 trillion to 3.15 trillion, about 23 to 24% in the green, which they can say is above inflation. But we say for you to say the company is outstanding, fantastic, scholar, it must be 2 times inflation. But the positive is a good one. But at the end of the day, you can see also the impact of gain on what on net. You can see the impact here also. If you look at the this the 9 months we are looking at. If you look at these 9 months, you can see that we can see the financial income also was up. From here we're having about 29.something billion to sell. You can see that this also very huge the change. And also if you look at the gain here, you can see that if you look at the gain in monetary position about if you look at the data about 23 fine, not if you compare to what 2024, you say it's a bit that. But if you look at the cost of operation, which is for me is a good one, it's a support for the cost of finance drop for 400 and something billion to what we are seeing today. It's a good one for them, and that also reflected in the numbers we are seeing here. At the end of the day, yes, the tax expenses was up compared to what they paid the previous year, 127.2, but then 297 point something billion. Good one, but you can see that at the end of the day was having 743.26 billion against 200, and this is huge. And this represents, if you look at this change, it's about about 166% or 164% in the green. For me, it's a good one for this company. And if I see that all the profit margin also are looking good. If you look at the gross margin is up to almost 59% margin, percent, sorry, 40%. If you look at the net profit margin about 23.6%, 6%. That means in every 1 naira of their revenue, about 24 kobo is saved as what as a profit. For me, it's a good one. Return on assets, return on equity are high. Return on equity is about return on equity equity is about almost 43 and which is which for me is a good one. And return on assets about 16%. For me, it's a good one for Dangote cement. And this is what we expect to see when they finally come on board. Trying to bring business and expand and also create wealth for investors. At the end of the day, you can see that any per share for the third quarter is about no, any per share is about 43 naira, 84, 82 kobo against 16 naira, 55 kobo. You can see there's a huge growth here for me. Dump up for Dangote, dump up for BUA, dump up for what for Wako. And this is why I see their price have gone up, and I believe that their payout at the end of the day, we'll see how far the price will go. Yes, I will say thank you because they are giving me sign here that today own, but I really want to round up. If you quickly look at also the market now, looking at the chart before we finally go out from here, we need to pay attention to see what the chart is saying before I finally leave the class. If you look at the chart, you can see that the chart is also still a slowdown, trying to breathe out for 3 days now, and that trend continue. But I'll tell you about the strength of the number. Yes, the market number, like also that this earnings have been factored into the price. That's why we are seeing it. But I feel like if there any pullback here, I don't see the market going below what 53, 153 before an uptrend. But I believe that as institutional investor, as I say number, they are not like retail investors. They have to also do their diligence, digest this number before they go to the market, and that also guide where they should place their position or not. We must pay attention to all this when we are taking value. For me, the market is not doing badly. I said earlier that we're having about almost 25 gainers in the market against some losers. Investors should pay more attention to where the market is going from here, because there's a lot of potential I see at this market cap. Having 24 gainers against what 18 losers. That's why the market is looking down. We're seeing that Julius Berger is leading the top gainers, followed by Deep Capital, I see Sovereign Trust, I see Asset Saving, also seeing ETI among the top gainers. But for me, I'm not surprised that Arade is on the loser side. Profit taking, where that stuff start moving from as low as almost 450 to where it is. Profit taking is part of the market. The only one I see opportunity doing greater is the Massad. Massad selling below 15 naira is a plus. Now I've seen that Massad, Guinness, all of that one leading the losers the chart. Profit taking also in Honeywell. For me, it's also an opportunity for those that want to take advantage in this insurance company, especially seeing the capacity of Massad, but the number that we're expecting will also determine what we also do more with Massad. On this note, I will say thank you and also see you on Friday, hopefully. Bye.